It's one of my favorite sounds. You hear it? That is a refrigeration compressor, and it runs my old Coca-Cola slide cooler. I saw that at an antique store. Kind of what I was doing was procrastinated. I needed to do a job. I'm just going to go into this antique store. Maybe you've done that. And I'm walking up and down the aisles and I see this red Coca-Cola slide cooler, the kind you open the top and slide the Coke out. And I just saw that. And it was running. That was making this very sound. And I looked at that. Well, how much is that? $500. Okay, I got a lot of ways to spend $500. I said, okay, all right. Got in my car and drove away. 15 minutes later, I was back in there. I said, I'm going to buy that. She said, yeah, I knew you'd come back. I guess in that business, you know when you set the hook. And I bought that thing, and I have not regretted it. I probably put another $1,000 in fixing it over the years. Every penny is worth that sound. Huh. So, as you are aware, I like stories. And your life is a story. And I decided to help you out and make story an acronym that you could follow along, because every story arc is the same. There's struggle, that's the S, struggle. You're trying to figure out who you are, what God made you to be, and that's a struggle. Then you find your team, that's the T. It could be your family when you start out, and your classmates maybe later on. You find your team, maybe it's your coworkers, and then you start on your Odyssey, that's the O, and then you work your life, and then towards the top of that arc you start to realize, wait a minute now, this story cannot continue forever. And then there's this yearning, that's the Y, this yearning for what is the next story. And there's all these story arcs that continue through your life. And this is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the realization that happens in the workplace. You're going to work your gig, and somewhere there's going to be the realization that, this isn't going to last. This feeling in the middle of your back, which is somebody's hand shoving you. So, when you're thinking about retiring, hey, this is a pretty nice office. Who was in here before you? Hint, hint. Who's after you? And the meetings where, hey, come on in. I mean, you're doing this well, but we had that software upgrade, and it was a little difficult. We had that new rah-rah team meeting, and you were a little salty in the background, and you want to say, that's because it's my 14th meeting. The acronyms change, but the BS doesn't, right? And you're that guy, and they know you're that guy, and there's this realization that one day something's going to happen. One of my daughters was in the Miss America pageant, which is just full of stories. I mean, I could go on and on about that. But this is what I remember. It's in Atlantic City, and we were, all the parents gather around, and they're pushed over here. Now go over here, and now stand over here, and get over here. And anyway, they got down to like the first 11 or whatever it was, the first cut. And our daughter Meredith was not in that cut. So I said, so I asked this guy who's running the camera, so now what do we do? And he has this thick New Jersey accent. Oh yeah, you're done. And all of those parents full of hope and possibility were instantly just shoved outside. You're done. And you'll see this. Sometimes people go into work, and I mean literally there's a cardboard box. You're done. Sometimes it's a gold watch. You're done. Sometimes it's in your heart. I'm done. Two warnings. Number one, you are your person. You're the hero in the story. You're not your job. A job is just part of what you do. If you become too obsessed with your job and then your job is taken away or you leave, well, then who are you? Well, many people think they're nobody. And then they go home and they die. Okay, this is so unfortunate. Just today, realize that you are far more than just your job description. And then the second thing I want you to think about is what's next, because there's always another story. There's always the next chapter, and you have to struggle to find that, but that's part of the fun, isn't it? So, as you go into the workplace today and you're starting to feel what I'm hearing, what I'm talking about, that sort of like realization, don't get mad, get excited, because the next thing is going to be much better. Why? Because now you understand yourself even better. Is this helpful at all? Do you like these things? I mean, I get in my shop and I tell you what I'm talking about. We go on and live our life. Is this helpful? If it is, could you hit the like button and the subscribe button, maybe even notifications, then I'll let you know when the next story comes up. And the reason is we're building a nice community, and there are some people, most people, virtually all people, who have no idea I'm doing this. And the algorithm, when it notices this, will probably push it out to other people. And in a world of ridiculous negativity and even fakeness, real conversations like this are surprisingly rare, okay? So if you could help me out with that, I would appreciate it. If you want to watch another video, I've positioned one right here. And until we meet, I'm Jeff Gould. God bless.